Hey everyone, welcome to TechHub.Training Excel Budget Blitz Challenge Solution. What I'm going to do is walk you guys through the solution I provided you and my process in creating it. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Here's the solution itself. Real quick, I want to mention the transactions and budget tables. What essentially you need to do is just translate this expense code, department code and expense category code to the actual names of the expense categories and departments. You do that through an XLOOKUP formula. I'm not going to go into detail about that for sake of time, but just so you know, that's the formula I use to pull in that data. Let's go ahead and look at the dash here, or the visualization deliverable. It has four parts. It has the waterfall chart, and it has the drop-down menu or slicer, and then it has the variance by department and the variance by expense category. Let's first look at the slicer real quick. In order to create that, you just go to the Data tab, hit the Data Validation. You can do List, for example. It's what I did. And then here, I created another tab called Index that has the list of all the departments and an All option that was required. Just reference that, and that gives you all of your options for the drop-down menu. Let's go ahead and look at the department variance table. Real quickly, what I'm going to explain here is how this data is being pulled in. We're using a couple of formulas here. The first one is we are saying, is this right here, this department equal to what's in the drop-down slicer? If not, obviously false. If so, true. We're going to need that in a second, and you'll see why. Go over to the budget section, and what this if statement says here is if our slicer says all, then sum up the sum up the budget by department as referenced here. So all of the finance department. As you can see that in the sum range, which is the budget amount, which you can find in the budget tab. The criteria range is the department, and the criteria itself is our finance department right here. That's what's going to happen if the slicer says all. However, if it does not say all, we need to put in one more if statement. So if it says something else other than all, we need to evaluate whether the slicer says finance. If it does, we need it to still pull in data. If not, don't pull in any data. We need to have it show 0. So if that all statement right there is false, does this right here equal true? If it does equal true, it means that this slicer equals finance, and we need to still pull in our budget and actual data. So in that case, same thing as last time. Just do your sum if, budget amount, criteria, the department, and pull that information in by finance department. If not, if this is false, it means that this slicer equals something other than finance, and we just need to put a 0. You guys can kind of see that happen here. Finance, true, yep, we just need the finances info. Put it in. False, HR, don't put in anything. Just put a 0, don't worry about it. And then the actual same exact formula that we used, except you're just summing up the expenditures right here. Variance is just simply budget minus actual. That'll give you your variance. That's what's going on in that table. And then let's go ahead and take a look at our other table, the variance by expense category. All right, this formula is a little bit different. Essentially what it's saying is if this slicer says all, then you need to sum up the budgeted amount by expense category this time, sum budget amount, criteria range, expense category, and the expense category that we're summing by is labor. That's your criteria. Sum it up. However, if this slicer does not equal all, then we still need to sum up the budget by expense category. However, there's going to be an added criteria in here, and I'll talk about why. So sum up budgeted amount by expense category, which is labor, like we just said. Your second criteria that you need in here is you need to sum it up by department as well. And so criteria range, you need to go by department, and your criteria is going to be this slicer right here. The reason is every single department is going to have an expense category. So whether if the slicer says all, we need to see the entire department's breakout of variance by expense category. If it only says finance or it only says HR, we only want to see the breakout by expense category for the finance department or for the HR department. And that's why this added criteria is in this formula right here. So as you can see, we have the entire company's variance by expense category. If we go to finance, boom, only show it by finance. All right. The last thing I want to highlight here is this is your waterfall chart that you created. One thing to look out for is usually this total is not included. If you have your chart go all the way down to here, it's going to include the total and add it into all of the other variances. So essentially your variance is double counted. In order to just convert it into the actual total, which you want to see, you just, hold on. Double click it there and just click set as total. And then your total won't be double counted into all of the other variances. It will be your actual total. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this solution.